This is becoming a problem and people are starting to realize it, but also most of the population doesn't care. I call them normies. If you're a normie, this channel might not be for you. So the conversations that I want to talk about today, breath work, I want to touch base with you about my experience with it, what I feel about it, if it's worth it, etc., etc. Welcome. My name is Lisa Petrick. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I've been studying mindfulness, meditation, subconscious programming, affirmations. I've also been studying psychedelics, breath work, somatic exercises, EFT. I have been studying. I have been putting in the work, and this is not an exaggeration. This pin hurts me. I have been listening to this kind of content since I was about 10 years old. I was in a very abusive household. And my aunt, by the grace of God, actually, my aunt gave me my first Marianne Williamson cassette tape, which is The Power of Love or Learn to Love or Lesson of Love. I don't remember the title, but it was a book on tape. And it was Marianne, her beautiful voice, so soothing and therapeutic. And I would listen to that tape before bed. And if you've studied any of this content, you understand that right before sleep and right when you wake up is the most powerful and impactful time for your subconscious sponge to be paying attention, which is why it matters what you listen to before bed, which is why it matters if you are scrolling in bed before you fall asleep, because your subconscious mind, I can access as a certified hypnotherapist, your subconscious mind when I get you in a state that is similar to sleep. So when you are drowsy before bed, or you are drowsy and you just woke up, you are the most vulnerable self. You are the most open vessel to manipulation, to programming, restructured in a way that's out of your control. And personally, I like to be in control of my thoughts and my feelings and how I'm processing this beautiful vessel that I was blessed with. I just want to, first of all, remind you that. So I'll get into breathwork now that I've jauntered on and on. For those of you that have never met me before, you definitely learned a lot about my personality in the last 5-10 minutes. First sip, you guys. First sip. It's always the best. I'm going to do a poll, and I want to know, let's see, where are the polls? Oh, I just posted a video of this somehow. I wanted to ask who's done breath work because I'd like this to be interactive. I'm very honest. James, I'm very honest. I do act like a young person. That's why I'm dating men in their 20s and I'm 43. So I don't know where the poll is. I'm like forgetting how to do my job. It's like Monday morning after like a 3-week vacation and I'm like, emails, how do these work? Oh, right. I got to say nice things. Yeah, that's how I'm at right now. I'm going to speak on my experience with breath work and my opinions on it. These are only opinions. This is not medical advice. I have done some crazy things in my life to try to heal because I've been through some really dark, scary, weird things in my life. And I tried ayahuasca in 2021. And I am a person that has always been afraid of psychedelics. I have the little tablet thingies and it was in a little tinfoil thing. And I literally left it in my car for 2 months. And I drove around with acid in my car for 2 months when I was 16. So I never took it because I was so afraid of it. Because I just don't like seeing trails and like, when the Disney movies get like dark and like everybody's faces morphs and like the colors are all like weird. Like I don't want to see that. I am like a rainbow, okay? Like I believe that like unicorns are real. And so for me, it was just never a thing. So I was afraid of ayahuasca. I was called to do ayahuasca right before the loss of my mother. And I actually got an actual call the day before my mom passed to be like, yo, Lisa, I heard you want to do Aya. I'm like hosting an event. And I was like, shouldn't I like have a protocol or like see a shaman like before I sit ceremony? And they were like, no, you just show up. It's cool. And I was like, this sounds terrible. Because for those that have never done psychedelics, that is the worst person to do them with. Okay. So this is an example of what not to sit ceremony with is someone that is nonchalant about it. Someone that is, by the way, I'm telling him my mother is in hospice and she's about to die. not a great emotional time to be doing something so heavy. I decided, obviously, because I'm smart, to not take a psychedelic the day pretty much that my mom passes away. And I decide that a year later, almost exactly 12 months to the day, on her birthday, I'm going to sit Mother Aya. And I'm not one to research things before I do it. I know it's kind of the opposite of what a human being should do. When I travel, I don't really read reviews. When I travel, I don't really follow what everyone else is doing. I listen to my gut, I listen to my internal navigation system. And I didn't want to know other people's experiences because I didn't want it to freak me out. Because for me, I think everything is programming. So what you read about someone else's experience sometimes as a human becomes your own experience. Sometimes, and I've studied this because I love forensics and I love the first 48 and those kind of shows, people don't actually remember what really happened. And you can realize this when you have a relationship with a person, of a love relationship, when you are combatively arguing with each other of what actually happened, because you have their opinion, your opinion, and you have the truth. Okay. There's always a skew of misinformation. There's always what you think they meant, but maybe they didn't say it the way that you remember it. So I didn't want to Google ayahuasca to understand what other people's interpretation of it was. I wanted fresh. I wanted crisp, clear. And I did the protocol of not having meat, coffee, sex. You're not supposed to do those things for 2 weeks before because you're trying to make your body very pure for Mother Aya. All right. It's a very sacred ceremony. There are very numerous tribes that do this in Peru. In Africa, it's a rite of passage for teenagers to sit this ceremony because you learn so much about yourself and this game, this virtual reality game that we're playing. And I you're supposed to release some things here and release some things there. I didn't release any things because I believe I live such a pure kind of life where I don't eat sugar. I, had cleaned up my diet. I've worked on myself a lot. So I didn't have a lot of purging. And I also asked for a very, very tiny, 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 tiny amount because I didn't want a super intense experience. I know some people think that you have to have the most powerful OMG, where am I dosage of medicine to have a shift or a change. But I'm here to tell you that I have had more shifting and change with breath work than I did with that situation with Aya, with my Cambo experience where they burn you and they put the whatever. My most powerful transformational aha moments. I mean, Bufo was a number one, but we'll get to that. But breathwork is something that I can do in my home for free any day. And with the state of the world right now and the manipulation of the AI and the scrolling and, trying to take over your autonomy and this overwhelming loss of power that we are having, not are having as a people, I think breathwork is what's going to save us. I wish, and they would never. I wish they would teach in school how to meditate. I wish they would teach body autonomy. I wish that, and these are things that they can't teach in a school because parents are supposed to be teaching this, right? So I understand that this is not like a school thing, but I wish parents were teaching this. I wish as a young girl, it was explained to me that when I kiss a boy and I get excited, that's nothing to do with that boy. Because I think a lot of times as a woman, and ladies, please in the comment sections, let me know if you agree with me on this one. I think as a woman, we are confused when we start having relationships that when a boy kisses us, we think that there's some sort of connection, that this means something. And we divulge things physically that haven't been earned yet. And if it were had to have been explained to me when I was younger, that when you kiss someone, it's your body's reaction, right? It's a chemical energy reaction. I think that would have saved me a lot of heartbreak as a young girl, but my parents didn't give me any explanation about anything. My parents were deadbeats, so I didn't get that information. Yeah, I also think that I did in my generation, I'm 43, I don't know how old you are. I did get taught how to have a bank account and how to have a savings account and how much money I should have in my savings account. I remember that class. I don't remember if it was middle school or freshman year, but I remember that I was younger because we were about to start getting jobs, because personally I started working at 14. So they did teach me that. I do also recall in math class, trying to remember what classroom it was, when I was in Haynes middle school. Yes, Haynes the underwear. We were always made fun. So it was 6th grade. And I had a math class that had us take the New York Stock Exchange, pick a stock, chart every day, Monday through Friday. I picked Music Land. That's a real thing. And I think I was in like second place for picking like the best stock. Proof that I have been psychic since at least the 2nd grade, you guys. I picked a stock that did really, really well. Do not come to this channel for financial advice, that's for sure. Because I also don't know how to pronounce that word. I think it's bouget, bidet. Oh, budget. Yeah, I don't know that word. I don't know that word, you guys. Back to breath work. I had never done it, didn't know anything about it. Just like with Aya, I did not investigate it. I did not research it. I did not Google it. Did my first breath work probably like 2 weeks after my brother drowned tragically in front of me. For those of you that don't know my story, I lost my mother in 2020, in July of 2020. And in July of 2022, me and my brother were memorializing her life on the day that she had passed 2 years later. And he was drunk and he drowned in front of me. And I had to call 911. I had to call his dad to tell him, your son just died the same day as your wife. It was a big mess. It was a big mess because then I was accused of schmurdering him. I have a video of him jumping in. We spent an hour trying to talk him out of it. But I talk on this channel about the esotericness that I think my brother wanted to pass. And I started this YouTube because my brother, chills, and it's 2222. You guys, the angel numbers, I could cry. Literally, I'm like tearing up right now. My brother wanted me to start this YouTube because he wanted me to talk about how men are not allowed to be emotional. How men, he lost his mom, one of his best friends, probably his best friend, and he didn't have anybody to talk to. He didn't have anybody, like, his dad would physically, which is why I ran away at 14. His dad would verbally, like his dad had been also. So he, was raised very, boys don't cry, suck it up, be tough, like quit acting like that, quit being a baby. The amount of times I heard my stepdad say, quit being a baby. So my brother, when he lost his mom, was heartbroken and didn't have the capacity. He didn't have the language. He didn't understand how to express or communicate. His girlfriend of however many years, I'm not involved in their relationship. So again, his truth, her truth, the actual truth. I don't know what actually happened in that relationship, but she ended up cheating on him and leaving him a few months after his mom died. I'm going to guess, because his father and I would have conversations about it, that he had become an alcoholic, probably why she was doing what she was doing. My brother was spiraling. Okay. He was not doing self-care. He was not having self-love. He was spiraling. He was, and I think he's glad that he died. Yeah, I said it. I think he's really happy because I do believe when you watch near-death experiences, there's a moment some people can get to come back. And I think my brother, intuitively, spiritually, I get the feeling my brother was like, oh, hell no, do I want to go back to that shithole? I'm done with this life. And it's my belief that what karma you don't finish in this life, you have to get reincarnated and refinish in a different vessel. Because I think life is just a big, giant video game. So fast forward to 2022, we've lost our mom. My brother's grieving, but he's like hiding it. And we're on this boat and he passes. And maybe like the weekend after, I am just like angry and just like vegging out at a pool, like trying to just regulate my body because I'm trying to act like I'm fine. I'm literally telling people I'm cool. I'm fine. It's cool. it's, I'm cool. I'm a spiritual girl. I feel like I'm moving on. I'm healing. I'm moving on. I kept telling myself these lies. And this woman came up to me, I'll never forget, at the Soho House pool. I didn't know her, but she knew me. She's like, I think you should go to this woman. She's a breath work. You should do breath work. You need to do breath work. And I was like, I'll do anything at this point. I had booked a call with this lady. So I go, I lay on this table, and she has this certain breathing rhythm that she has you do. And you breathe in from your stomach, then you breathe in from your chest, and then you push it, and you got to take gasping breath. And what it does is it changes something science in your brain. Okay, it changes some science in your vessel. Listen, I'm not a scientist, nor am I a doctor. I am just sharing my opinions and my beliefs and my experiences. And I went on a journey. Eyes closed. You have your eyes closed. Like a dreams, like your like most vivid dreams. I saw family members. I felt energy, but I felt a community. I felt held. I felt comfort. I felt it was, and I came out like tears all over my face. I was like, what the French horn just happened? It puts you in a state similar to subconscious reprogramming, like similar to right before sleep, does some oxygen thing with your brain that I believe brings you to like a spiritual heaven type energy. To me, it's free, it's easy. You can pop it. You could do it. I could do it right here in the car. It's not illegal. I'm going to do it. People drive without their seatbelts on all the time. And that's dangerous. People overdrink themselves and fall asleep where they could themselves by doing that. That's dangerous. I think doing breath work is the least level dangerous that I could do. So we started doing it every week. We started doing breath work. I would go to her house every week. I think she charged me like $100. And she, as like a shamanic entity who had been trained by an African Maladona. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Really respected. And she had trained with him. Breath work to me, if you are looking at a psychedelic, if you are thinking about making changes to your well-being, trust. Hypnotherapy definitely works too. Like, I'm not discrediting my own craft. I personally believe you have to push through things with breath work before you have a better grasp on reprogramming it. And let me break that down. Let me explain. I am psychic. I am intuitive. I can meet people and know things about them within seconds without them saying anything, speaking anything. Being a child that was highly attuned to situations due to being verbally bleh, and like, people punishing me for making me the reason why they were happy or sad. I had to learn quickly how to read people so that I didn't get hurt. So I become very good at reading, scanning, investigating, and anybody can do this. I'm not anybody special. I just was put in a corner as a very young being and forced to learn how to survive in a very scary home. So I have this heightened sense of attunement, discernment when I look at someone. So like when a friend brings me her boyfriend and I start doing that, this is a no for me. This is a breath work that I don't do for spiritual shifting. It's a breath work that I do for central nervous system regulation. I would listen to this breath work 3 times a day to strengthen my central nervous system, which will make you heal and feel better faster. It's like 20 minutes and it's somatic breathing. It's not the breath work that it's not that one. It's a different, but you breathe in 4 seconds, breathe out, then breathe in 8 seconds and out, and then you literally hold your breath. Personally, I have to hold my breath because if I don't plug my nose, I'm not the best swimmer. So water goes up my nose because I cheat a little bit. But I've done it when I was really triggered when I was in Japan. I filmed a scene for you guys where I was like, yeah, I just did a breath work. And it was that. And I, eyes closed in the back of the van, was plugging my nose with the cab driver taking me to some bamboo forest because I knew I needed regulation. I guess the only natural function that your body makes that you have control over, because like, yes, I can make myself blank. and I can make myself not blink. But then you eventually blink, control my heartbeat or like my blood pumping. But your breath, you can hold it. And if you've ever been in a scary situation or embarrassed or nervous, your breath changes. So regulating your breath regulates your central nervous system. So when you are in a state of emotional overwhelm, something that your body is not normally in a state of, working on your breath, doing breath work. That's why it's called that, guys. Your parents are who they were, so you could be who you were becoming. Exactly. I don't know how to pronounce it. Buck now? Exactly. I personally believe that I chose my parents before I incarnated. I think Source was like, okay, we got a few options today. We have this chaotic mother who is not aware of self-love and doesn't feel like she has any respect for herself. So she's going to marry a narcissistic, abusive man. And then he's going to teach you to be a people pleaser. And then you're going to have daddy issues. And then we have this other family over here. And I was like, oh, sign me up for the really fucked up one because I want the VIP advanced version of life because I genuinely believe that we get to pick our families. I believe that because what other belief do I have when people have beautiful, loving families and don't argue with each other and just like have all this money and like peace and whatever? Like, they must have chosen an easier route is the only way I can feel better about it. Because if I make it my choice, hey, right? It makes it less painful. Deprivation and isolation. Yeah, very. Have you done one of those saltwater floating things? I personally didn't love it. The saltwater thing, the float 360. I knew the owner. I'm afraid of water. The irony that my brother died via water a few years later is not lost on me. I wasn't afraid of water until I watched a Baywatch episode where this woman kept having visions of drowning. And then I developed my fear of drowning. And then my brother drowned. Yeah, I didn't love trying to stay up. I mean, I know it's salt water and like you don't have to try, you're just supposed to be able to float. But like I was constantly feeling like I was going under, so I was not able to relax. I guess I should do it again. All I know is what I feel in my body and the research that I've done and the things that I feel. And has my opinion changed from 6 months ago? Absolutely. Has my opinion changed from 6 days ago? Absolutely. So I believe in free will and freedom of choice and being able to change. But what I also know is that I'm only in control of myself. I have body autonomy only over myself. I don't have children. And even if I did have children, I don't have manipulative control over what they choose to do. I used to have a family, don't have a family anymore. So I don't have, even if I did, I didn't have control over what they choose to do. So the only person that you really have control over the choices, actions, words, thoughts, beliefs is yourself. Back to breath work. I think breath work is so transformative, helpful, healing, empowering. It is such an add value thing to do in your life. Literally free. Literally free. And if everyone in the globe spent 20 minutes doing some sort of meditation or breath work, do you think the world would be in the chaos that it is right now? And yes, about forgiveness. Yeah. I think people struggle with the F word, and that hurt my soul. Because when you don't forgive someone, you are poisoning yourself. When you have anger living in your body, you are making yourself sick. When you have resentment, disappointment, irritation, blame, like you are like, this person did this to me and I'm angry. You carrying that anger, I'm not a monk, but like this is their mentality and I support it. You carrying the anger and resentment for someone else, they don't feel it. They don't feel nothing. Honestly, if they are a bad person, they feel high that you are thinking about them, that you are ruminating about. That's for me, that was a big part of forgiveness. Because if I'm going to hold anger, chills all over my body. If I'm going to hold anger on you and I'm going to make myself sick for you, that person that I'm angry at is probably like, oh, they're thinking about me. They're still hurt by me. I have power over them. Do you want the person you despise to know they have power over you? Come on. Absolutely not. So for me, forgiveness is, every day people act like a fool, just running around in Chicago all the time. The way they drive, the way they walk, the way they talk to people in the grocery store. I'm constantly giving forgiveness for people. So I'm like, you're really going to talk to someone like that? You're really going to behave that way? But again, we are all on our own rotating rock in the sky, doing the best that we can. Do I have forgiveness and peace for everyone? Literally anyone. I've had some crazy things done to me. I forgive all of them because I can't control other people's experiences. Everyone is on their own journey. I can only control the way I feel, and my mental health, my comfort with myself, my being is the number one thing that is important to me. It's not what other people think about me. I don't care what other people think about me. I watched my brother die. Do you really think I care what anybody else says or thinks? There's nothing you can say that would hurt me more than watching my brother die. I think losing a parent is a rite of passage. I think you learn a lot about yourself. I think it's something that no one's talking about, which I wish to speak more about. And something that's not talked about is when you lose a parent, more often than not, anger you didn't know you had comes up. Resentment, memories, feelings. You could let those things okay, so I dated a young man in 2025, adored him, still adore him. We shared on our first date, we went for a walk, that he opened up with me within 15 minutes of the walk that his brother had passed from the big C the same month and year my brother had passed. Okay, talk about a trauma bond. So on this walk, he opens up to me about his brother, and I'm like, did you Google me? Because this is my story. And we immediately were locked. And he goes, Lisa, I'm so impressed that you are not living in your brother's loss, because my two sisters, it's been years, are still struggling. My mother, still struggling. They are still devastated years later, and it's causing suffering in their life. One of them, I think, lost her fiance, left, because they are not able to move through the emotions, the feelings. Because I think a lot of times when we lose someone and they're taken, people are angry, people are they're like, why would God do this? Blah, 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 blah. They just hold all this animosity. And processing the emotions that you feel in your body, processing, releasing, and forgiveness, and understanding that none of it is in your control, and you trying to control it is literally going to make you sick, is the most esoterically, spiritually enlightening, powerful thing that you could ever do. I really would love for everyone and anyone that I cross paths with to know their power, to know their capability, and to understand that this vessel, you only get one shot in this vessel. Your human soul came here to learn. And I'm here to hopefully be a guide. So on that note, I'm going to end the live today. Do I believe in God? Yes or no? I believe in a God-like spirit. God lives in all of us. That's my interpretation. I am starting to that Jesus was trying to show us how powerful we could be. Just chew on that for a minute. Jesus, who's the Son of God, maybe we're all the sons of God, was trying to show us that he was going through all of that and still at peace. I don't really remember the whole story on God because, again, I was raised atheist, so forgive me. But I think parting of the seas, was that Moses? Mary Magdalene, Immaculate Conception? I believe we all are spiritual beings that have God within us. And you have so much power. Did you ever see the movie OA? Or I guess it's a TV show. Stranger Things? On that note, gotta